Hey, what's up, guys? While I've never played either the original System Shock or its sequel, both are legendary among PC gaming. The first game in the series was released in 1994 by the legendary Nightdive Studios, creators of the first two Thief games as well as the Ultimate Underworld series. However, I hate to admit that what has kept me from playing them, besides a frequent lack of time, is how extremely dated both titles are. However, Nightdive Studios realized this and have begun developing a remake of the original. The demo of this upcoming remake is actually available on Steam for free, so I wanted to give the game my 2 cents. Now keep in mind, having never played the original games, I have no idea how faithful this game is to the original. That being said, I had an absolute blast during this roughly 2-hour demo. First up is the gameplay. And while the game is technically not a survival horror game, I felt right at home. Combat, exploration, puzzles, and inventory management make up the bulk of the gameplay. The combat, specifically the melee combat, can feel a little stiff at times, and is probably the weakest part of the game. But it's fully functional and it gets the job done. The exploration, however, was undoubtedly my favorite part of the game. I had a blast searching every nook and cranny for loot and weapons. The inventory management was well organized and gave me instant RE4 flashbacks. Always a win in my book. Overall, the gameplay was great, although combat could still use some work. Next up are the graphics, which are great in my opinion. Now this is not a AAA title, and isn't the next graphics powerhouse, but I mean, take a second to Google the original game, and tell me this game isn't a drastic improvement. Now some textures here and there were blurry and low res, but overall the game looks modern. The overall blue tone mixed with the bright lights gives the game an awesome aesthetic. Kinda reminds me of Far Cry Blood Dragon actually, which is always another win in my book. I've seen people online criticize the lighting for being too bright, but I thought it fit the game well. Also, along with the graphics, I wanted to mention the game's amazing atmosphere. Being what's called an immersive sim, the game's job is to make you feel like you're trapped on a space station. In between the retro 80s aesthetic, the numerous audio logs, and the army of cyborgs trying to murder you, this game does that and more. Overall, love the graphics too. Next up is the sound design, and I mean just listen to this clip.
Potential strike against Earth. Nathan Darcy is the science officer on board. He'd have information on shutting the laser down. His office is on your level near the central hub. Get there immediately. See what you can find.
What's the most important thing for a sci-fi game to do? If you said give you flashbacks to the greatest movie ever made, Alien, then you would be right. The sound effects were great, and I especially like the little chirping noise that all the cameras make when they detect you. The voice acting of the audio logs and messages that you receive were well done as well, which is crucial for a game like this. As far as the demo goes, they nailed the sound. Well, really the only other thing to talk about is the story, and since this is a demo, I'll give you a brief summary. So you're actually a hacker who tries to break into a giant corporation and gets caught. Instead of getting sent to prison, however, you get the option to go to the space station and figure out what's going on. What they didn't tell you though is that a crazy AI has control of the station and is hell-bent on killing you. This demo only briefly touched on Shodan the AI, but from what I know, Shodan is considered one of the best villains in gaming. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. My impressions of this demo are that I am very, very impressed. Nightdive Studios really sold me on this demo, and I plan on buying the finished product regardless of how it does. I just hope that the finished product is as good as this demo was, because I've heard that the game has had some serious problems with development. But hey, if Nightdive Studios happens to watch this, I'd happily take a review code. If you guys like this video, a like and subscribe helps out a lot. I'll catch you guys next time.